Good evening, folks. I wanted to drop by and do a little post here and talk about the storm that came through. I've had some people tell me they saw a rotation, and somebody asked why and why why no tornado warning and all that kind of stuff. So I wanted to stop by and do a quick update, especially about tomorrow and what to expect with tomorrow's storms and so on and so forth. So let's go ahead and take care of that right off the bat. Tomorrow's severe threat, we do have a slight risk out for much of the area. That does include at least part of the Red River Gorge area, but not quite all of it, but most of the Red River Gorge area. And the rest of it's in a marginal risk. And I'll show you why that is here in a few minutes. Now, as far as the kind of stuff to expect with this, strong gusty winds is the main thing, but let's look at it as we go through here. The tornado risk is very low. It's somewhere between 2 and 4% for tornado risk, but that does not include the gorge area. It is the northern part of Montgomery into Rowan and on off toward Ashland and stuff like that. This is the only area for real risk. But, as you guys saw with this storm that just went through, anything can rotate and anything can throw out some really, really strong winds. And we'll get into that. The hail outlook for tomorrow, it is a low likelihood, but it's a 5% risk to see at least some type of hail coming from these storms. There is enough cold air aloft still to drive some hail down at us. So, it's don't be surprised if you see some tomorrow. I've had several people tell me that there was pea-sized and a little larger hail this afternoon. I didn't see any where I'm at, but that storm really intensified, and I'll show you that in a minute. Now, the wind outlook, we are in the 15 to 29% likelihood for strong and gusty winds or damaging winds. That means anything, I think it's 40 mile an hour and above, or 45 miles an hour and above. I may be wrong on that, but it's pretty close to that. It may be 55. I'm sorry. My brain is just not functioning tonight, but it is a decent shot of strong winds with these systems as they roll through. So anyway, we are level 2 out of 3 risk for most of the area. Level 1 out of 5, and level 2 out of 5 risk for most of the area. And Wednesday, tomorrow, there is 2 chances. One somewhere around the noon hour, give or take a little bit, and there may even be some other showers prior to that. In fact, you want to have more showers. You want to have some more rain. If we could get some showers throughout the day tomorrow, off and on with no sunshine coming through the clouds, then that's wonderful. It does help to make that atmosphere a little harder for strong storms to develop. So the more rain we get, the better it is, to be quite honest. But the primary threat is the damaging wind. Tomorrow's high, if we get sunshine, definitely in the 90. If we don't get sunshine, probably 85 to 88 degrees. Low tomorrow night, 60s. Thursday, after all this is through, this cold front makes its way through, is going to be really nice. It will feel super nice. The air will feel cooler and crisper. Even though the temperature is going to be in the 80s, it will feel nice. Low Thursday night, around 60. A couple of the models are actually hinting at the 50s, 55 to 58. Not everything is telling me that, but a couple of the models are. So that does mean that, yeah, we're going to see some chilly air. Now, if you happen to get into one of those areas, or if you happen to live in one of those areas where you get into the 50s, expect patchy fog on Friday morning. I wish I could take some time to explain this on the WSKV weather that I do, but unfortunately, I've got a limited amount of time, as you know, on radio, and so I can't really explain all that. But definitely, some patchy fog is possible Friday morning if we drop into that 60 or below mark. Friday, heat's coming back. It depends on if some clouds hang tough or not. Right now, a couple of the models are hinting at some clouds hanging on Friday. And if it does, then we'll probably stay in the 80s. If not, guess what? 90 again. So we'll see how all that turns out. And I'm a little aggravated about not being able to determine exactly how many 90-degree days we had and all that kind of stuff. Just not enough data out there collected. And let's talk about this storm that just came through here. Let me go to the radar. Well, let me do this first. Let's finish up on tomorrow. Um, this model is called the NAM model, North American model, and this is the first wave, and this is coming through roughly around noon tomorrow, give or take a little bit. And you can see right in here is, the Red River Gorge area starts right in here, and you can see these storms are off to our north. Now, mind you that this doesn't pick up on the little stuff, the faint stuff, or anything like that. It's just looking for storms. And that's what this model is thinking, that we will see some of those maybe roll through this area somewhere around that noon hour, give or take a little bit. If we have some rain otherwise in other times, that's a good thing. It helps to help stabilize the atmosphere. And I know, you can look and see, okay, well, the Red River Gorge never had any, this particular area never had really hardly any at all, but it doesn't mean that it's set in stone 100%. This model does kind of give you a heads up as to saying, okay, this area right here is going to have some precipitation. And if I keep going a little further, looks like right now, that looks like a pretty empty space with no rain. But, I'm hoping that we continue to get some in the middle there. And this is tomorrow evening, somewhere around 8 o'clock. I think it's a little too late. I think it'll be in here before then. And, I know a couple of you mentioned you see the dates and the times changing, but don't worry about this because this is Zulu time and it's actually based on um, changing time 5 hours ahead of time. It's based on the prime meridian. Anyway, so this is about 8 o'clock tomorrow night. And you can see definitely some stronger storms could be rolling through. How strong, how much, I don't know. They do look to intensify a little bit as they get toward West Virginia, which makes sense because that's where the slight risk is located. And then you'll notice that kind of continues and hangs out for a little while and then eventually gets pushed away. And that gives us into some cool, cool air. I've got one more model to pull up, and it's currently running its next run here, but I will still be able to show you. So this is tomorrow around noon again. And again, you can see the spotty nature of these moving through the area. And then we've got more of a um, flow west to east of rain. And again, it's showing up spotty, but that doesn't mean that it'll just be spotty. There could be more of it there. And here it is again tomorrow evening, a little later in the evening. And it's showing a low pressure system developing that could intensify the amount of rain that we get. So definitely two possible waves, one around noon and then one later in the evening. Okay, let's talk about this storm that just went through. Um, I was trying to do a live video, but unfortunately it didn't work at the time, and so I couldn't. Oh, come on! Sorry, give me one more try here. Okay, so right about here, I got on Facebook and put out the pictures, and I pointed this out right there, and I said, "Hey guys, this is a um, I hope I didn't call it a gust front on Facebook. It's not a gust front. It's an outflow boundary. This has some strong winds with it. It has some leaf debris. It has that moisture with it. It has droplets with it, and all of that kind of stuff. And then as it got a little bit closer, sorry, I keep I keep getting updates from the radar, and it's changing it for me. Okay, there we go. So as it got a little bit closer, and right here's the wind started or hit through Stanton. I posted the picture and I drew the red line on it. I think it was about the time that I drew the red line on it there, and I said, this is a pretty intense storm. You might want to watch out. You might want to take shelter. And then at this point, the main wave of energy was already through where I live, and it, we got a severe thunderstorm warning right about at this point in time, and it covered the entire area here, all the way southeast and all that stuff. And I'm like, but it's already through where I lived. And so at that point in time, I'm like, well, maybe it's okay. But I started watching and watch the next frame as I click through here. You notice it really starts to intensify. And I put this picture out on Facebook, and I said, because I couldn't get the video to work at that point in time, and I said, hey, guys, this thing is rotating. It really looks like it's rotating. And you can physically see that right here. This is a little bit of a curve, a hook. That is semblance of rotation in the storm. And that rotation, it has to last long enough for the radar to pick it up and then send out the notification to the meteorologist on duty and say, hey, there's rotation in this storm. And if it doesn't last long enough, like some of you said, it rotated and moved on pretty quickly, then that's why. That's why the storm that hit right here in the Red River Gorge, that wasn't a tornado, that was a downburst. That's why that particular area never got a tornado warning either, because it didn't last long enough. There are two kinds of tornadoes. You have spin up tornadoes, ones that actually come from the rotation going up to the cloud, and others that come from the cloud down. And either one can be very, very quick. Usually, spin ups are not as strong, while spin downs are much stronger. So, anyway, that storm definitely had some rotation with it. I saw several of you post pictures on Facebook. Yes, it did have rotation with it. Thank goodness nothing really touched the ground. But that doesn't mean anything. I mean, we had a little bit of damage here from bird feeders and stuff like that. And, uh, just typical leaf kind of debris and limbs and that kind of stuff. That's typical for these kind of storms. And that'll be about typical for tomorrow. And I'll go ahead and carry this on through as time passed. You can see clearly that one segment, that one moment in time, is where it was rotating. And you hear, whoa, sorry, I zoomed out of the universe there. You hear me talk a lot about how we don't have enough coverage in this area. And that really bothers me a lot, that we don't have enough coverage in this area. We don't have enough radar for the area. Um, Let me see here. Okay, sorry. My brain was going to show you all the radars, but we only have, I mean, literally, we have Jackson. We have Jackson. This is our radar. It's in Jackson. This is the National Weather Service radar. The next closest radar to us is over here in Louisville. Folks, look at that distance. That's a problem. We need a true Lexington or Richmond or Winchester based National Weather Service radar. We really do. And you can watch the TV all you want. You can see them talk about their live radars and all that kind of stuff. As far as I know, well, and I think there's only one station left that has their own radar, and that's the Max Track Live Doppler on Channel 18. But it's not a National Weather Service radar. I've even had a couple of people approach me and say, "Hey, how much would it be for you to put in a radar? A small radar like um, um, LEX 18 has, and even smaller than that actually is around 15 grand." No, and it costs a ton to operate. Radars are expensive because they send out bursts of energy that costs money, that costs electricity. But anyway, I digress on that. As you can see, this is updating as we speak, and most of the precipitation has moved out of the area. There is another batch behind this. Um, of course, Jackson radar, it can't pick it up because it's too far away. It can see it up over here. I'm going to try to pull up the other one if I can really quick and show it. But by the time you look at this, it'll be too late anyway. It'll already be on top of us. Okay, well, anyway, I have another radar that I could have pulled up and showed you there, but I don't see the link to it. Okay, that's all I've got. I just wanted to share all of this stuff with you and tell you about this storm and show you that, yes, it was rotating and I saw it on there. But, I am not a true meteorologist. I don't have the degree, but I know a lot of you trust me, and I thank you for that. But in a real emergency situation, yes, if I can get on there and say something, if I can do a live, I will. But when I lose power, I lose everything. I don't have, I can supply my own electricity, but I don't have internet, and there's very little cell service around here. So don't always depend on me to be able to do that. Just giving you a heads up. Folks, I love you and I appreciate you beyond imagination. And I thank you all so much for your patronage, and I thank you all so much for liking my videos and all that kind of stuff. You're awesome. I love you. Jesus loves you. Take care. Have a great night or a great day if you're watching this in the morning.